All right, let's talk Andre Ward, Alexander Brand. It was a pretty one-sided fight. I gave Alexander Brand a few rounds here and there, but for the most, not even a few, just maybe like one round. I gave him probably like one round. It was definitely one of the earlier ones, but it was mostly just Andre Ward. I I won't lie, I wasn't paying like extreme attention to this fight. Probably like after the fifth round, because it was just so. I mean, it was just so one sided that it's like one of those things where where there's gonna be like some kind of a sporting event, right? And you don't really care that much about that sporting event because you already know who's gonna win. You know who's gonna be the favorite. It's like so overwhelmingly so. It's just like there's no point in like watching every single second of the game. But you keep the game on just for like just for like background noise. You're eating, you're doing stuff in the background, and that's pretty much what this fight was for me. I from what I saw, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't really over analyzing it like I did like with the Terrence Crawford Victor Postal bout, because this is just, we all know what this fight is. This was a pretty much a paid sparring match, rightfully so though. Like Andre Ward deserved it. I don't have no I've seen some comments and some hate being thrown around at Andre Ward before this fight. And I don't think that's fair because we all know who Andre Ward is going to be fighting at November 19th. We even know the exact date, and Andre Ward hadn't even fought Alexander Brand yet. We know the exact date of when Andre Ward was going to be fighting Sergey Kovalev, which is November 19th. So I don't see why anybody should be complaining about Andre Ward getting a little tune-up fight with Alexander Brand. A lot of fighters only fight 2 times a year. There's some fighters that only fight once a year. Andre Ward is not fighting once, twice, but he's giving us 3 fights. Okay, let's cut the man some slack and back off. Anyway, sorry about that little rant there. I was just getting irritated when I was thinking about all the hatred thrown at Andre Ward's way. But let's go back to the fight. Now, Andre Ward looked extremely comfortable. Extremely comfortable. I mean, in the Sullivan Barrera fight, I thought he looked pretty good in that as well. But in this fight, he looked very smooth. There was no jittery movement. Like he just knew what he wanted to do when he did. And anything that he wanted to do, he did it. He was definitely the ring general in this fight. All right, he was also the aggressor for most of the fight, which I thought was a little bit surprising considering Alexander Brand is a shorter fighter. I'm used to seeing taller fighters just be the boxer, and someone with Andre Ward's boxing IQ, he definitely could have been that in this fight. But he could have just taken it easy, just outfought him. But it was whatever. I still he's effective going backwards, and he's effective going forward. So Andre Ward is pretty much a Swiss Army knife. He's got all the tools in his shed. And another tool that I really wanted to see him pull out in this fight was his ability to switch southpaw. I wasn't mindful of this during the Sullivan Barrera fight, but thanks to that Terrence Crawford Victor Postal bout, I remembered that Andre Ward also used to switch from southpaw to from orthodox to southpaw. I remember Andre Ward used to do that in the past, and I went back and I looked at some of his older fights, and yeah, he would do that almost for the same reason that Terrence Crawford would too. I mean, this is just me speculating, of course, but what I'd see Andre Ward doing with other fighters that had decent jab is use the southpaw position, because when you're in the southpaw position, it's inevitable that your leading hand will touch the leading hand of the other opponent. You guys will definitely be touching, and so I think the advantage of being in the southpaw position, if you're in an orthodox, let's say if you're a right-handed fighter, right, and you're in a southpaw position, I think the advantage is the fact that your lead hand, well, of course, you guys probably know this, but your advantage, of course, is the lead hand of, your lead hand is your dominant hand, right? So it's easier to deflect the jab and get control, establish control. And, it's like you're almost using it as like a sword and a shield. You see what I'm saying? Because when someone shoots that left hook, you got so much more control over your dominant hand. You can probably block that, come back over with a straight left. But yeah, we saw that in this fight with Alexander Brand. What I also liked is that Andre Ward, he clearly has some power in that left hand. So when I think Sergey Kovalev is gonna have a lot of problems. Initially, I thought it was gonna be a little bit, maybe a little close, but Andre Ward really showed us that he's a very complete fighter. I don't think that Sergey Kovalev is gonna have any answers, because Sergey Kovalev, as dominant as a fighter as he is, he's so. I just don't think he has that inside. The things that work for. There are some spots where Alexander Brand was able to get some air, what I'm saying, like when he kind of smothered Andre Ward. Sergey Kovalev has not shown me the ability to smother. And even when Andre Ward was smothered, he was still getting the better of Alexander Brand with some of those inside shots. When they're in the clinch, Andre Ward would still be, throwing little hooks to the head, to the body, shit like that. I'm not seeing Sergey Kovalev do anything like that. And Andre Ward, he pretty much put on it was, like I said, it was like paid sparring. He pretty much just showed us showed us his versatility. The man obviously he can fight moving backwards, but this man was fighting moving forwards, and for the majority of the fight, I'm talking like he was the stalker, okay? The superior boxer was also the stalker in this fight, and he showed us his ability to cut off the ring, and I don't see Sergey Kovalev having anything against him. Of course, one punch can change a whole landscape of the fight, but Andre Ward, his defense was also there. He has defense on the orthodox side. He has good defense on the southpaw stance. It's just I just don't see Sergey Kovalev. When I first heard the two names together, Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev, I thought that was a pick'em fight, right? But I'm not. Don't get me wrong. Sergey Kovalev is a great name to have on your resume, but Andre Ward is so complete as a fighter. I just I was a little. It's almost unfair, This guy, what I'm saying? This is son of God we're talking about. But Andre Ward, good performance. Alexander Brand is no Sergey Kovalev, of course. And I'm curious to see. I think that's Andre Ward. The only question I have is, can Andre Ward take Sergey Kovalev's power? Okay, power is going to be a big thing, a big component coming into the fight with Andre Ward. Coming into November 19th. Okay, power. It's like I think that Sergey Kovalev has that power to. He definitely has that one punch power that can change the whole. Change the whole game. And I don't think that out of everybody in Andre Ward's resume, I don't think he's faced someone that's as strong as Sergey Kovalev. Sergey Kovalev, listen, ladies and gentlemen, Sergey Kovalev killed someone in the ring. That man killed someone. Okay? Anybody that can kill someone with his bare fist or gloved fist is someone to be reckoned with. And we're gonna see if Andre Ward can handle that punching power that Sergey Kovalev possesses. But outside of that, again, I don't think Sergey Kovalev has anything on Andre Ward. Andre Ward's athletic. He's very skillful. Very skillful. He can fight moving backwards. He can fight moving forward. He can fight from outside, inside, mid-range. I just don't. He's just too complete. I just don't see anything. I don't see anybody having anything on him. Anyway, some key rounds that I did manage to put some shit in my notes. I just thought a key round of the fight was definitely the fourth round for me. It wasn't the most action-packed round, but as soon as Andre Ward landed that left hook and got the crowd kind of into it, that's when even though Andre Ward was already leading, the distance just kept on increasing between Andre Ward and Alexander Brand after that. After he landed that left hook from the orthodox position, then fifth round he switches to. He finally shows us that his ability to fight southpaw. He lands some beautiful, clean, straight hand lefts. That's another thing that's really good. Andre Ward has power in both hands, so that's going to be something that's dangerous for anybody. You gotta be. He's a two-handed fighter. He's not fighting just with one hand, and so that's about it. These are my thoughts. Just a casual fan here. I'm not an expert, but you guys know what I always say. Don't have to be an expert to give your opinion on anything. So take it easy, y'all, and I'll see you guys later.